Let's talk large quantitative models. How is what you're building different from the large language models we've all had to wrap our head around?
Caroline, good to see you, first of all. Great to be here live on set. In the world of Zoom, it's great to be in person for once. This is a fundamental new area of AI. So I think we're all familiar with ChatGPT, we're all familiar with large language models, wonderful set of applications, millions of people using it around the world, as it should be. Now comes large quantitative models. And when we look at the majority of the business sectors, the economy, we look at biopharma, chemicals, energy, financial services, these are all quantitatively driven, not language driven. And so the majority of our economy is actually depending on quantitative relationships. An example would be in biopharma. Let's say we want to create a new drug for a certain cancer or Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. We probably don't want to take the drug of a language model trained on Reddit and cat pictures. Probably not recommended. But we can use large language models to summarize scientific literature, for example. That's wonderful. But when it comes to actually the quantitative relationships of creating the drug, seeing if it fits at that receptor, and developing that all throughout the clinical trial, that's a job for large quantitative models. The data is fundamentally different. The models are different. The whole field is a new area.
And how practical is it in its application right here, right now? When you're raising $300 million, what is that for? Is that for talent? Is that to actually drive the necessary improvements in the models? What is it that you're going to be fine-tuning?
Well, the good news is, over the last 2-3 years, since our spin-out, we've now proven with customer after customer that it actually is having impact. For example, UCSF, University of California, San Francisco, one of the best places for biomedical work. Stan Prusner is a Nobel laureate there, using our software to advance his drugs for neurodegenerative diseases right now. So this is having an impact today. It's running today on the GPUs, on NVIDIA and TPUs from Alphabet. It's running right now. And these are quantitative models, again, not trained on the corpus of words of the internet, but trained on the relationships of chemicals and atoms and those kind of dynamic relationships. So it's having impact right now, Caroline.
Because what's interesting, of course, you talked about a spin-off. It was a spin-off from Google. Your chair is Eric Schmidt. We understand the sort of way in which the company first was born. And then we look at what's happening with Google. Quantum, the Willow chip, everyone's deeply excited about real applications to quantum in the next 5-10 years. Is that realistic?
Well, it's a great question. Why do we call our company SandboxAQ? What's the AQ? A for AI, Q for quantum. And so years ago, we already saw that advanced compute really has two engines. It has the AI engine of large language models, large quantitative models, LLMs, LQMs, but it now also has the Q, the quantum. And the breakthrough that Google announced just last week, our colleague Hartmut Nevin, who announced that at the Santa Barbara campus of Google, is a wonderful example of the milestones being achieved in the quantum hardware space. We don't build quantum hardware, we use quantum hardware as it progresses to business impact. Today, quantum computers are very early, but what Google showed last week with the Willow chip is that as you scale the number of qubits, you can actually decrease the number of errors. That was a critical milestone, Caroline, in terms of how we can advance quantum computing. So the future that we see is one that has GPUs and QPUs, quantum processing units, together, working together in a mesh in the hybrid cloud. That, I think, is the future. And we're going to see, I think, very significant progress over the next 5-6 years in the quantum hardware itself.
All of that means your applications become, well, more broad. How quickly are you going to be making money from this for your investors that we've just been seeing?
Well, the good news is we're already generating revenue today. We're creating a lot of value for our customers today. And so be it in biopharma, be it in the chemicals and material space, be it in battery chemistry, we know the importance of batteries, not just for electric vehicles. Actually, the bigger market for batteries are stationary batteries to store energy from renewable sources. That's actually the bigger market, but we must leapfrog beyond lithium-ion technology. This, again, is a job for an LQM, a large quantitative model, versus an LLM. And so I think that the number of applications are really numerous, and we raise this money in order to advance our investment in the product development. We do want to hire more PhDs, more software engineers. We have quite a few already, but it's time to hire more.